Hey all, Pixel here, Improbable Garage, and we're back on the 56 Olds. So, after my previous video where I was all the angst on this, I decided what the most sensible thing to do at this point is see what I can do to get the car back to being a car. So the theory on this is that this may reignite my interest in it, this may help me sort of focus what I want to do with it, and if at the end of it, I still don't want to keep the car. Something more car-like is going to be easier to sell. So it just makes tons of sense to get this thing back to not being just a pile of random parts half disassembled. To that end, some friends of mine are coming over this weekend to help me really thrash this thing out. But I want to do some prep work ahead of time. Today is Thanksgiving Day. I have a couple hours before we head over to my friends for Thanksgiving. So I figured I would put some time in. So I basically have two lists. One is the overall stuff I want to get done, and the other is what I need to get done today. Overall, what I want to get done is all the panels that are in bare metal, and probably this fender. I want to clean all the surface rust off of them and epoxy prime them. I want to pull all the junk out of the interior and see what I can do to sort of put the interior together or organize stuff. Like the radio may go back in the dashboard, or it's going to go in a box somewhere. You know, the air cleaners in here, that should be on the engine. A bunch of the interior trim has just been taken off and thrown in there. That needs to be reinstalled, or more likely boxed up neatly. The rear window I would love to put back in, but it needs a bunch of work, so we're probably not going to do that. I want to put this fender on properly. It's just kind of on there randomly. I want to put the headlight bucket back in, put the headlights back together. I want to hook all the wiring back up. I know there's at least one electrical connection that needs to be repaired. But I want to hook the wiring back up to the generator so the engine charges. That'll make it drivable because it'll charge its own battery. I want to put the wheel back on. You get the idea. I want to reassemble the car into a car-shaped thing as much as I can. I'm not going to do things like put trim on, obviously. But like, these windows are still installed, but the vent window's been taken out, so I want to put the vent window back in. Make sure those windows work, that kind of thing. So that's the like overall, you know, the goal is I would love at the end of Saturday, when we're all done working, that we can take this thing for a spin around the block. That's going to be like the we fucking won, is that this will look like a car, operate like a car, and we can take it for a spin around the block and feel like, hell yeah, we got something accomplished. What I need to do in advance of that is all this crap needs to be out of the way. All the crap that's piled on it needs to be out of the way. And I need to do some odds and ends work. Like, there's one or two patches that still need to happen inside this wheel well. Will I get to that? I don't know. But I'm kind of hoping, because if I can get that all welded up inside that wheel well, that means that can be epoxy primed at the same time as the other stuff. The rear window, there's a spot in the middle back that's rotted that needs to be welded up, and then this same repair I did over here needs to happen on the other side. If I can get both of those done, then realistically we can epoxy prime the whole rear window area and put the window back in, which would be awesome. And then there's other odds and ends, little things that if I get to them, I'll let you know. But yeah, that's the basic idea. Today, I want to expose the car, get all the crap that's piled up around it away or out of the way, and then I want to see what I can get done. Unfortunately, it is pouring rain outside and it is freezing cold in here. So I would love to be able to move this out into the yard to give me some room and to be able to reposition. I would love to have it more this way. I may still end up trying to like jack it up and pull it over, but unfortunately I can't back it out and reposition it because it's raining so hard outside. So yeah, I'm going to put you on time lapse and I'm just going to see what I can get done in the we go. Mostly cleared out. Obviously I have to wheel that out of the way, but there's no good place to put it right now. Part of the problem is, as in the previous video, still bathroom stuff going on here. That's the cabinet that's going to go in there. Those are some shelves we're building. That's the kitchen wall. And then there's just extra materials that are kind of stashed in here. And because it's like that out, I can't stash them outside. So yeah, but at least I got all the stuff in the way. I got all the stuff on it, off. The interior is a mess of things thrown in here. I do have a car cover. I think, just for my own motivation, I think the next thing's going to see whether or not it starts. Obviously can't do anything with that data right now, but I want to know. So I know the battery's disconnected. Pretty sure it's dead. So I guess step one is get access to the engine compartment. Come on. There we go. Alright, there we go. Hell's rocket in all its glory. Reconnect the battery. Notice it's kind of gross all over the top of it. Hope I left the keys in it. Yes, I did. Let's see, the very coldest of starts. Oh, we have some life. Alright, let's see what happens. There are things about this car I love. Yeah, not bad, huh? It's been at best a year, probably closer to 2. Started right up. A little bit of a tick because it's so cold, but nothing I'm worried about. Yeah, look at that. Connect the battery, give it a couple pumps, crank it, starts right up. So that's good. Oh, I'm going to check the transmission fluid level. We need to put you down for it because I'm almost certain it's low because it leaks like a bastard. Trans is actually a little overfull. It's cold, it won't go away. Trans is a little overfull, but that's okay. Given the leak, that's a self-solving problem. I'm going to disconnect the battery again. But that's... Whoopsie. No, you don't come all the way out. You just get loosened. Alright, yeah, but that's good. That means that when it's not wet, this will be easy to move. There's still a brake pedal in there. The brakes should be fine. They were fine when I parked it. So I think my next step is going to be wiring. I pulled all the wiring. I disconnected a bunch of the wiring over here. When I pulled this out, when I redid, these are all repainted. You can't tell because they're gross now, but that's all been redone. It's not all put completely back together because the fender's still off. But like, you know, this is the headlight wiring, that's the turn signal wiring, that kind of thing. Something broke off over here, I don't remember what, maybe the horns. And the generator is disconnected. So I think my next step is going to be hooking all of that back up. I know there's at least one thing that needs repair, possibly this one, possibly another one. I marked all this stuff, but of course now it's all dirty and gross. I can't make out my markings. But yeah, I think that's going to be the next step, is put all the wiring back together so that if we get this to that state, it can drive and all the shit will work. Well, didn't get all that hooked up. I dropped one of these nuts, which turns out to be some weird bastard size between 1/4 and a number 10. So I had to find it, which it had ended up rolling down under the tire and wedging itself into the tread, which was fun to find. But got it back on, got it on. This is charging. I still have to oil the 2 little ports. There's a little port there and a little one back there that just needs some 3-in-1 oil. Ow! But I didn't get a chance to hook up the lights. Unfortunately, I need to go get ready for Thanksgiving, so that's what I'm done with for right now. But I'm going to call that a win. Car is dug out. Car starts. Car charges. I mean, not bad. Not that any of that should have been in question, but it's nice to not have a different separate project added to this. So yeah, if I'm lucky, after Thanksgiving, I'll have a little bit of time to work on it. All right, day 2 on the Olds of prep, so my friends can help me tomorrow. Yesterday we got it running and charging, so that's good. I'm actually going to leave the rest of the wiring till tomorrow, because this is something that someone else who's, even if they're not super car capable, can hook up and they can fix that one wire. So that's that for now. I'm not going to worry about... Wow. I don't know why that's in there. I know why the pencil's there. That's left over from marking stuff, I don't know, 2 years ago. What should I work on now? See, this is the hard part, because in theory I want to paint this tomorrow, but realistically it's fucking cold. And I don't know that I don't think I can get this garage warm enough, but I really would like to try. I need to go read the label on the epoxy primer and find out what its low temp is. But again, that's a job I can easily give somebody to be like, hey, clean all this stuff off and make this shiny metal. You know, I've got to get these backup lights out, stuff like that. But that should be all pretty easy. Stuff that I can work on is try and get all the welding under that quarter done tonight, because that would let me epoxy prime the inside of the wheel well, and then genuinely the rust repair on the left side would be done. Other stuff that I could work on is... clothes on me. Thank you. There's a little bit of rot right here. I need to grind this whole lip here and make sure there's no other surprise spots. And then the same rust repair that I did on this side needs to be done on that side, possibly more so. And if I got that done and the rust on the other side done, we could clean up the rear window and then epoxy prime that, and then it would be ready to put the rear window in. I don't think I'm gonna put the window in. Maybe, maybe not. But it would make that job ready to be done. So... this is... I'm having... I don't know what the biggest priority is for now. Actually, you know what? If I get the inside of that wheel well done, then all it will need tomorrow is scuff it, spray epoxy primer in there, and put the damn wheel on. It won't be done because it'll still need to be seam sealed and lined, but all the welding will be done in there and ready for the epoxy primer, and then I realistically can feel like I can put the wheel on for now. Yeah, that's a good thing to prioritize, even though I don't think I'm going to get it all done today. Because I'm not going to get all that, I'm unlikely to get all that stuff done. And I'd have to move the car for that. And I have to put the wheel on to move the car. So, yes, that's what we're going to do. We're going to work on the inside of the wheel well. I might do that a little bit up in the middle, in the back there, if I feel like I want a quick and easy win. But let's take a look at the inside of the wheel well. So here's where I am. All the black you see drooling out is because I put a long wand on the end of a can of Rust-Oleum and shoved it down there and up through some other spots and whatnot to just flood the inside of this with the Rust-Oleum to help seal the inside as well as I could. So that's what all that is. It's the same reason there's Rust-Oleum just sort of around everywhere up there. But what I need to do is this piece, which is the sort of the last remaining bit of what was there, needs to get taken out. I have to cut it off and then figure out how, like, what spot welds there are over here. This needs to go away. This is the back of the latch plate for the door. I need to make a little bracket that holds that in place but has some ability for it to move around so that if I remove the latch plate, this doesn't fall down inside where I'll never reach it again. And then I need to enclose this and up in here, which is currently open into the wheel well. The original version of it there was a sort of box around this, but it was, the top of it was a shelf, and that's why all of this is rotten, is because the top of that rotted out, it rotted down into here, it rotted down into here. So I've actually been redesigning all of this. This is not how the factory one was shaped, but this has less places for dirt and crap to get stuck, which is why this was done this way. I'm going to do the same thing up there. It's going to get welded directly to the outer quarter skin in a way where there's no place for stuff to get trapped. So I don't think I'm going to be able to put you on time lapse. As I recall from doing this before, there's no room to do that because I'm going to be in the way of anything the camera would see. So I will catch you up when I get to the next stage. All right, so this is what I've built. This odd looking little thing is going to go like that. And it's got a little bit of clearance all the way around so that thing can move around. The reason it's kind of narrowed in that one spot is to give maximum play back and forth in this area, you know, between these two screws. So basically what I just need to do is clean off 3 spots so I can put some spot welds through those holes, and that part will be done, and I won't have to worry about this capture plate falling off. It had something, you know, along these lines, but it was completely rotted away. So that's why I had to rebuild this, because what was there was just gone. Progress. The piece is welded in up there. Ah, I can't even see. Getting in and out of this wheel well sucks. That's welded in and has that little bit of movement in all directions for the plate, so that's all set. And then, sorry, the ability to light this area without the light being in my way is nearly impossible. So I've now made this. It's going to fit roughly like that. I can't position it in exactly the right place with one hand. And you can't see it anyway because it's too dark. Oh, Jesus Christ. Come on. Come on. Well, that's the best I can do. This is going to fit in here and cover up that and close up the holes over here pretty much. There's going to be one gap that's going to need a little more seam seal than I might like. But that's going to fit roughly there. Oh, looks like I might be bleeding. I think that's... maybe it's paint. Maybe, I don't know. There's something. That's probably my blood from somewhere. Anyway, that's going to cover up the holes over here and all of this, and it's going to leave an opening at the bottom. The bottom has only been very roughly hacked because I don't know quite how I'm closing that bottom piece, and I figured it'd be easier actually to modify it in place because I can't hold this up here while I fit other stuff, and there's no place to put like a screw or something to hold it in place. So I'm just going to weld it in, and then from there figure out how I'm going to close up the bottom. Got that piece in. I'm actually outside because you can see where I welded it. Had the welder just a little hotter than it should have been, and so these welds came through more than they should. I did turn it down after the first few, but you can see where the first few definitely are because they're the ones that really bubbled out on this side, and unfortunately it sucked this area in a little bit, but that was going to need body working anyway, so I'm not too tragified. Up in here, that's what I've got now. This side over here is not welded as well as it could be because it turns out there was more undercoating there than I thought. I thought I'd gotten past the undercoating area, but it wasn't super great. I'm not going to try and fully weld this all the way around because I'm just going to put way too much heat in that outer panel for very little benefit. Once this is all epoxied, that will just get seam sealed solid. There's a little bit more gap here than I'd like there, that I think I'm going to put some weld in to at least close it up some, the same way I did over here because I bent this way and that opened up what was just a slit here into a V, and I filled that with weld. So now the next thing is a combination of bending this down and making another panel. We'll close off the bottom of this, and then I can finally call this effing thing done. All right, and we're done in here. So there we go. Piece is welded in. I actually stuck a little triangular piece up there to take up most of that corner up there. You can barely make it out. And then I've got this added piece down here to seal this off. You can see these welds are kind of ugly. I'm fighting with all the prior paints and other stuff and whatnot, but I'm not too worried because none of this is structural. It's just basically a water shield. So I'm gonna, I think, get in here and grind the worst of this down and then call it done. And that's all gonna be ready for scuffing and epoxy primer. So that means the rust on the left side of the car is actually done now. And that's a milestone. And it's kind of annoying that it took me one evening, but I've been putting this off. But this whole thing just kind of got overwhelming. And that's kind of part of what this whole point of this weekend is to reset this. So hopefully the whole project's less overwhelming, which means I'll do more with it. And then maybe actually make real measurable progress in a much shorter span of time. So I'll catch you tomorrow when we're working on it. Morning, day 3. Just got up, waiting for my friends to get here. So last night, after I shut the camera off, I futzed with this fender a little bit. Because I had a chunk of filler here, a chunk of filler here, and a chunk of filler down there that I'd applied and never done anything with. So I was like, I wonder how quick I can sand those back and make them smooth. And turns out if you leave filler for over a year without sanding it, it doesn't sand very well. Funny that. But this one is good. I'm happy with that. I'm not sure it's actually solved the ding that was there, but it's smooth. This down here is all right for now. Probably going to need more rework, but it was probably going to need more rework anyway. This, there's way too much that was on here, and it's in a weird, like, this is slightly concave at the bottom, but slightly convex. Okay, apparently the camera thinks it's battery, it's dead, so this is as far as I can reach with the cord. But yeah, what I was saying, it's slightly concave over here, it's convex over here, and it's all a little different over here. So this is basically a transition point that had a dent in it. And the filler I put on to fix a dent there now is so thick, I think I'm going to end up having to just put a more aggressive grid on, take all of this out of here, and start over again with less filler, because I don't even remember what I was trying to fix there, but right now it's a mess, because I can't get the shape there right, because I don't even know what the shape is supposed to be. So I think that's a future problem. I think this fender's just going to get smoothed out, and I think that's going to get ground off, and it's going to get shot in epoxy primer, and then that will be its own little project. But I'm going to be doing some cleaning up before they get here, probably have breakfast, and then when we start working, I will start filming. All right, update. I misunderstood when my friends were heading over, so I was farting around for a little bit, and then I realized, oh, they're not going to be here till afternoon. So I started working on real stuff. The big thing that I was doing while I was farting around was cleaning out the inside of the car. Just parts that I'd thrown on the ground, screws, nuts, bolts, whatever. Same back here. Still needs to be vacuumed out, but you can see it's not full of crap anymore. Something I'm going to need to do, these are all the various bits. These are going to need to be both sorted, and also the metal parts obviously are going to need to be cleaned up and painted. Some more over there. This is all my random hardware. This is one place where I really screwed up, was I kept taking things apart thinking, oh, I'll be putting that back together soon. And so I didn't bag things anywhere near as well as I should have. So that's going to kind of be a thing I screwed myself on. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Good, they didn't all fall. But yeah, so now I've got just, this is all the stuff that was in the front footwell. I got to figure all that out. But future me problem. I expect this to last, you know, measurable in hours, but I taped up the seat and put a piece of fabric down and taped that up just so the seat's a little less nasty to sit in. I can't vacuum because my shop vac is full of sanding dust. So if I run it in here, I'll just fill the garage with white dust. So I need to get another shop vac or something to clean all that up and all that up. But the interior is now, like, I could get in this and not have to shove stuff out of the way. So win there. And then I started working on the outside of it with the surface conditioning tool. This door has all been scuffed with the paint remover one. I've just started on this one. I'm going to need to go back in, obviously, and sand this with something else to get the last little bits off, because I can get this off with the tool, but it's just not worth the time. It's faster to do it this way and get 99% of it off and then come back and sand it with like a DA or something. I need to take this lock out so I can get this bit of paint off, and then the doors will have the outside ready to go. The inside of them, because like the entire inside door frame and everything has been painted with Master Series, so it doesn't need to be restripped. It will just need to be scuffed, and then the whole door will be ready for primer. All of this primer, I'm not really happy with this gray primer that I put on before. I used it on the van and it started to rust through, so this is all going to get cleaned and rescuffed and shot with the new epoxy primer, the better quality stuff I bought. So this fender, again, just needs to be, now that I've sanded off all the stuff, so the rust, or the Bondo that was over here, turns out this is the low spot that I was filling. I don't know why I put this huge swath on, but it needs to be redone again because it's still low. This one is good. That one's good enough for the moment. I may come back and deal with it again later when I'm at my final paint stage, but I haven't decided yet. Hood needs to be re-cleaned up, but I'm making progress. I haven't decided whether I'm doing this jam here yet or not, but I'll get you. I'm making progress, even by myself, and it'll just go faster when more people show up. All right, sorry about that. I didn't film it all when my friends were here. We were too busy talking, we were too busy getting stuff done, and I just completely forgot whatsoever to set a camera up. So, oh well. But we got so much done. So, the hood, completely restripped down. I actually just wiped it down with phosphoric acid to treat all the little pits, because I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but this hood is very badly pitted from paint being damaged on it. So it's got a coat of phosphoric acid on it right now to treat all the little bits of rust in all those pits and convert them so that that can be safely painted. The edges of it all the way around have all been ground down and whatnot. Once that's been treated, it will need a sand just to sort of smooth the surface out, and then it'll be ready to go. This fender, sanded, ready to be primed. Outside of this door and outside of this door are ready to be primed. They've been, had all the stuff cleaned off. They've been primed as much as possible of the inside of the door edge, and the door frame over here has been scuffed. Once the door comes off, I'll be able to scuff the last little bits over there. And then the inside of this will be ready to be primed. This door, the outside's ready. The inside is not ready to be primed because I forgot to strip this whole area before. So the inside of this door is going to be a separate project now. But I'm going to prime the outside so that it's all set in terms of like weather tightness, but I'm not going to worry about the inside for right now. That's been prepped as much as it can be until the door comes off. This has all been stripped back 99%. There's a little bit in here we can't get at with any of my tools. So I think I'm actually going to fire up the sandblaster and just sandblast that area because I can't effectively get in there with any tools. There's a couple little pinholes that are actually, looks like it's welds from the other side that overheated the metal a little too much that I just need to fill over here that we found. This whole panel has been completely stripped, including all the way around and halfway down that way, except for a couple little spots here. There's a few very, very tiny spots that will need a little attention with something smaller than what we had to be able to actually get in there and get everything off. But other than those little bits of detail, this is all stripped down, ready for sand and paint. Started in on this drip molding here so that it can be primed. The entire interior has been cleaned out and vacuumed for the first time since owning the car. Ditto, the trunk got cleaned up and vacuumed, and then the stuff more neatly put in here. So really huge progress. Not quite as much as I had like dream hoped for, but the little fiddly shit that slows you down is really what kept happening. But I'm really happy with this because, like, in theory, I could come out here tomorrow, do the rest of the prep, and this would be ready to be painted. Like, this is now one person, one day to get this to paintable, as opposed to this would have been a week. Well, maybe not, you know. So it'd been several days of just me to get it to the stage, and the idea that I would have had the momentum for all of that right now with everything else going on was not there. So this is amazing and perfect and great. This is so good. My friend Chris is actually just leaving. I don't know if you heard his Volkswagen start. Yeah. So yeah. So this is fantastic. Like, fender, give it a final wipe down, prime it. Hood, give it a sand, give it a wipe down, prime it. Door, take it off the car, a little bit of scuffing in the places I can't reach, give it a wipe down, prime it inside and out. Door, take it off the car, give the outside a wipe down, prime it. From most of that around here, behind there, under here, and through to about here, some scuffing in some places, most of it just wipe down, mask it off, prime it. The inside over here, little bit of final paint detail, clean up, sand it, wipe it, prime it. This panel, little bit of detail here and there that we couldn't reach with the tools, sand it, wipe it down, prime it, and that goes halfway across the back there. So much further along. So happy with that. I pulled everything out. Pile here that I have to deal with. Did find a couple things I thought I had lost, which that made me happy. Gonna need to do some sorting and organizing with this stuff and put it away a little bit more neatly. But just that it's not in a random pile where I dropped it in the car. That's really good. So yeah. This was a good day. It wasn't the like absolute 100% silver bullet done, let's take it for a spin around the block that I'd kind of half hoped it would be, but that wasn't a realistic expectation. I think if everybody had been available and had showed up at like 10 in the morning, we probably could have been there. The biggest problem was when we got to a point where I could start thinking about painting some of these panels was right when the temperature started dropping, and it got very quickly too cold for painting to be a realistic option. So tomorrow should be about the same temperature, I think. I think with a heater in here, I'll be able to do some painting if I get to that state by then. So yeah, that's where I am. All right, it's another day. I didn't end up working on Sunday. We went out to go run errands, and that ended up taking all day. So it's lunch on Monday. I just worked very briefly, but I got a couple things done, so let's bang through explaining them. So first off, the hood. We'll get to this dust in a minute. All the little pits here have now been treated. They're all now black oxide in them, which means that the phosphoric acid did its job. And because I wiped it down and only left it the thinnest layer, this doesn't need to be heavily treated. It just needs that sand it was going to need anyway. And it's ready for primer. Fender, we're not, it's fine, it's fine. And then back here, the reason everything's covered in dust is I grabbed the sand blaster and blasted the paint out of over here and down here and over here. Now I got to do a little bit more there. But getting the paint out of places where I couldn't get it easily with the tools we had, because I needed... This corner was going to be impossible. There was a thick layer of paint and stuff there, and no tools could get in it well. And the other thing I did was there were a couple of pinholes over here that were only visible after the paint was ground off that I filled and then ground back. So that's taken care of. Once I touch up that one spot I now saw. Oh, by the way, I went through here with the sandblaster out of curiosity. It's not getting this out of the pits because that's now the converted iron oxide, which is stronger, and so the sandblaster doesn't want to touch it. So that's actually a good sign that the phosphoric acid did its job, that it won't take that off easily. So unfortunately, much as I was expecting to do, the sandblaster made a horrible mess. So now unfortunately I have a new job of cleaning it up. But I also tried the sandblaster out over here, and you can see very quick and dirty job. It got most of the rest out of there. It won't take the old seam sealer out. That's still going to have to get mechanically scraped out and then probably ground back, but then it'll get the rust out of there really nicely. So that'll be able to do that job pretty quickly. But little progress. Always making things better is the important part, and I did that. So I'm going to hit that one corner now that I see it again, and then I will call this done for lunch. All right, well, it's the evening. I haven't done anything because we were working on bathroom stuff, and the weather is freezing cold. It's going to be cold for the foreseeable future, and by the time I'm done working every day, it's after dark, and of course the temperature plummets from whatever small amount of high it got to. So I'm not going to be painting this week. This weekend is the soonest I'm going to paint, and even then I'm not sure on it. So I'm just going to put this video out because I was hoping to get this into paint by the end of the video, but it's not going to happen. So I'm just going to end it here. This is obviously continuing on. I'm going to keep doing the prep work when I have time. My goal is to just basically, like, the first day I can, I want everything to be ready for paint so that it can literally just be like, throw some masking on it, wipe it down, fire paint onto it. But that's going to be it for right now. I will talk to you all later. Thank you very much, and goodbye.